iOS 19 is no more. I know. How can that be? It hasn't even been announced yet. Well, that's because last-minute WWDC rumors are coming in hot. So let's quickly recap the latest as we are less than 2 weeks away from what is my personal favorite event of the year. With the design overhaul that's coming this year, Apple plans to rename all of its operating systems, reports Bloomberg. Going forward, iOS, iPadOS, macOS, tvOS, watchOS, and visionOS will be identified by year rather than by version number. We're not going to be getting iOS 19, we're going to be getting iOS 26. And before you can say it, I understand that we're in the year 2025. I'll explain that in just a minute. Now, iOS 26 will be accompanied by then iPadOS, macOS, tvOS, watchOS, etc. 26 instead of iPadOS 19 and macOS 16 and visionOS 3. You can see that they're just all on different parts of the spectrum here, and so it makes sense for Apple's consistency's sake to get everything in line with the same number. Apple's using vehicle-style numbering for operating systems, which is why it's choosing to use the upcoming year rather than the year that we're currently in, because most of iOS 19, well, now 26, will be living in the year 26. Now, I feel like Apple should adopt the same naming principles with the iPhone soon, or it's going to get really weird in a few years. Hey, are you running the new iPhone 22 Pro Max on iOS 31? You see my point? So I'm definitely interested to hear what you all think of the new name change, but that's not all of the WWDC news that we got over the last week or two, as it appears that the heavy translucent-driven design, the one I've been talking about for months and that's inspired by visionOS, well, it seems as though that's going to be coming down to all of the platforms, including Apple TV and Apple Watch. And it's going to be one big cohesive redesign with frosted glass or translucent elements, perhaps floating tab bar designs, maybe not on the watch, but at least on Apple TV, etc. Gurman has previously revealed that iOS 19's new design is codenamed Solarium, which is a room with glass walls that allow in sunlight. So the codename could hint at the more translucent menus and buttons that are expected across iOS 19 or 26. I'm going to call it 19 until we hear otherwise, but Apple will announce during WWDC 2025 all of these new changes, which again is expected to be coming at the keynote on Monday, June 9th. Now, we've also heard rumors surrounding a standalone multi-platform app for games, according to Mark Gurman at Bloomberg. The app will let users launch games, plus it will have sections for in-game achievements, leaderboards, editorial content, and communication. The upcoming app is set to replace Game Center, which basically already does most of those things, and Apple has long used for inviting friends to play mobile games and tracking achievements. While Apple plans to use the new gaming app to promote Apple Arcade, it will also include all of the third-party games that are currently located in the games section of the App Store. It sounds like Apple is aiming to split out the App Store's gaming, making it easier for customers to find and download games on their devices. On the Mac, the app will also tap into games that are downloaded outside of the Mac App Store. This is the part that really intrigues me here, because if you can link like a Steam library to this app and have a one-stop shop for all of your games on your devices, that would be incredible. We're also expecting Apple to have these apps pre-installed later this year, but showcase everything at WWDC. I do think AI features will be taking a step back at this event, but it is interesting that there are reports circulating that Apple is planning to make its artificial intelligence models available to developers to use in their apps and introduce a new software development kit, or SDK, in iOS 19, which again, I'm going to keep calling it until I hear it's 26 otherwise, that will make it easier for app creators to add AI features. I think this is a huge step towards making Apple Intelligence potentially more useful, more robust, just more fun maybe, with third-party developers getting a crack at it and seeing the best ways that they can implement it into its own applications. So that's it for now. I might make one more video rounding out everything that we're expecting at WWDC, just like one giant refresher towards the end of next week, but we are at the home stretch. I can finally find out what this big redesign of all the platforms is going to look like, and I personally cannot wait. But I would love to hear from you and your thoughts in the comments down below. This has been Dan with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you around in the next video.